60% of our body is made up of water, and only 5 people in here knew that. But all of us agreed that water is important for your body, but only 7 of you said that you drink the right amount of water every day. And all of that was from my Google form that you all filled out. In my speech, I will be telling you how water affects your body and how it is very important for your body, including stabilizing your balance, helping you sleep, perform cognitive tasks better, and help your mental health. My first article is called, Does Hydrotherapy Help Adaption? In this article, numerous of scientists did studies on cyclists, and what they did helped to see if they could perform better out in everyday life. And the first quote is from Kristin Persuasive, one of the scientists, and he says, Hydrotherapy allows athletes and non-athletes to perform better in their everyday life. So even a simple thing like water allows you to adapt faster and more to your surroundings and helps you perform. Let's think about something. When you're about to go to bed, your parents usually don't let you drink any pop or caffeine because they know that that's not good for your body, and they're not wrong. One of my scientists, Charlie Sargent, states, all measures of sleep were affected in a negative manner at the end of the day from the lack of water. As we can see, simple things like water help you sleep better, they help you perform better, but they also help your balance, which sounds weird at first, like how does water help your balance? That leads me to my second article called, Does cold water or ice slurry ingestion during exercise affect your net body cooling? And this article was written by a bunch of Australian scientists, so a slurry is water, as they call it. And in this article, scientists did tests on marathon runners, and I know you guys aren't marathon runners, and neither am I, but they're human and we're human, and what affects them affects us. So in this, they did tests on them, and one of the things that they came up with was, it stands to reason that exercise with unaltered cold fluid, your body heat and storage you will become sick. So they're basically saying that without water, your body is going to become sick. And if you think about it, that's like sweating. And when you sweat, you need to replace that sweat with water. Our body it also helps us remain balanced. And one of the things that they said was, after any physiological modification of sweating has the greatest impact of balance. And if you think about it, becoming lightheaded, what does that make you do? It makes you dizzy, you want to fall over, so even water affects your balance. Water is important for sleep and balance and your performance, but how else does it affect you? It also affects your mood. And if you think about it this way, when you take a sip of ice cold water, you feel refreshed and you feel happy. And I didn't need scientists to tell me that, because we all know that cold water makes you feel better. But warm water, if you think about it, it does not make you feel better. You might put it down or say that it's gross when it's warm. So in this article, your mood is affected, and this was my favorite article because they did tests on 23 kids, and 11 had water and 12 didn't have water. And they did a bunch of mental tests to see how kids' moods were affected. And I'm going to be telling you about 4 of the tests that they did. And the first one was visual attention. For this, they took 2 pictures, and one had the same picture. One had 10 differences in it, and kids had to figure out the 10 differences in these 2 pictures. And the second one was visual memory. And they did the same thing where they had 2 pictures, but this time they showed the first one, and then you got a blank page, and then they showed the next one because they wanted to see if kids' memory was affected just in a short period of time. And the third one was called visual search. And what they had to do for this one was draw a line between targets, and they had distractions on the page to see if kids could focus on that. And the fourth one was visual motor performance, and for this one, they had to draw a line through 2 curving parallel lines. And if you're like me, I would say that those tests are pretty easy. Like, I can draw a line between 2 lines, and I can pick out differences in 2 pictures. But that was not the point of this article. The point was to see if kids' moods were affected. So in my third article, where all of this information is coming from, scientists concluded that scores in the happiness scale were down with the kids who did not receive water compared to those who were able to receive water. So even the simple thing like water is able to improve your mood. So if you want to be happier, I encourage you to drink more water. As we can see, water improves your mood, so that's another positive that it does. along with your mood, your brain is also healthier with water. Leading me to my fourth article called Dehydration and its Effect on Fluid Cognition. In this article, scientists took men with the same body mass, age, height, and weight, and what they did was did a bunch of physical tests on them. And one thing that they came up with was exercise-induced dehydration causes a greater impact on mental tasks that require allocation of attention and increases in tasks that are personally easy. So what they're saying is that tasks like writing your name is easy to do, but when you're dehydrated, it's not very easy, and that comes back to becoming lightheaded because you're very dizzy and you're not able to focus. Another thing to think about, which I just said, was lightheaded. Now, I'm not talking you stand up quick and you get dizzy. I'm talking about the real lack of water, you feel sick, and to the extreme level, you could have a stroke. Becoming lightheaded is the easiest way to tell if you're dehydrated. However, there are ways that it's not as easy to tell if you're dehydrated. Lightheadedness, sleeping, all of these are connected to your brain, which leads me to my fifth article called Dehydration Affects the Brain and Structure in Young Adolescents. In this article, scientists did 90-minute tests, physical tests, controlled temperature, and a wide range of mental tests. What they came up with was dehydration causes drowsiness, tiredness, and changes in decreased effort. So drinking water will allow you to be more awake, and it'll help you perform better. My sixth article and final article is called Dehydration Influences Cardiovascular, and it talks about how our heart is affected by water. Scientists tell readers how not only your blood pressure is affected, but more things. Scientists stated, we conclude that moderate dehydration plays a role in the efforts of blood pressure. As you can see, water affects everything in our bodies. From the 6 articles of dehydration, it is easy to know that your body is affected. However, there are types of water that you should not drink. One is ocean water, obviously very salty and it's not good for you. And rainwater, which was on my Google form that a lot of you said this question is irrelevant, but actually rainwater is not healthy for you to drink because it's full of dust and dirt that are in the air. Dehydration affects every aspect of our body. The simplest way to solve it is drinking water. Water plays a major role in our bodies. 60% of your body is made up of water. In my speech, I told you how water keeps you balanced, it helps you sleep, it helps you perform better, it helps your heart. There's so many benefits to water. And the main one was your mood. So if you want to be happier, I encourage you to drink more water. Thank you for listening.